Chrisean, Rock, and Blueface are in serious trouble after a baby shower completely spiraled out of control. What started with Blueface bringing Chrisean around his pregnant girlfriend quickly turned into a knife confrontation, a street fight, and reports of gunfire. Let me break it down. Nevaeh Akira is pregnant with Blueface's child, and over the weekend she was set to celebrate that pregnancy with a baby shower surrounded by family and friends. That was the plan. Over the weekend, Nevaeh was supposed to be celebrating her baby shower amongst family and friends. Instead, Blueface brought his ex, Chrisean Rock, into the house. Blueface snuck Chrisean Rock into the home and didn't do a particularly good job of hiding it. That's the key detail here. This wasn't a slip. He walked her in himself at his pregnant partner's own baby shower and didn't manage to keep it quiet. Subsequently, Nevaeh found out, and in a widely shared clip, she pulled a knife on Blueface. Think about that sequence for a second. A woman 7+ months pregnant, hosting her own baby shower, discovers her partner brought his ex into her house, and she doesn't scream, doesn't storm out. She grabs a knife on him. That's the image that started spreading across social media. Before anyone even knew about the street fight that came later, Nevaeh pulled a knife on Blueface, and eventually the entire situation was diffused. No stabbing, no injury reported, just a standoff that got captured and posted, immediately making the baby shower a trending topic for reasons that had nothing to do with cake or gifts. This wasn't some out-of-nowhere blow-up either. The tension between the women was not new. Just days earlier, Nevaeh made a disparaging remark about Chrisean during a live stream with Blueface, leading to another round of online backlash and adding fuel to an already volatile dynamic. So by the time Chrisean physically walked through that front door, there was already a lit fuse sitting in the room, and Nevaeh didn't hold back on camera either. In a separate clip, Nevaeh stated that Chrisean Rock would be going to jail anyway, as she believes Blueface's ex is responsible for the death of her friend, Ronnie. That's not a small accusation to throw out in the middle of a baby shower gone sideways. It's the kind of line that turns a domestic spat into something people can't stop replaying online. Here's the thing about why Blueface would even try this. He and Chrisean have a documented pattern. This is not dissimilar to what played out between Blueface and Chrisean Rock 3 years earlier. Blue has consistently kept the mother of his child close, and that pull between them has been unrelenting. Bringing an ex to your pregnant partner's baby shower isn't an accident when it's part of a pattern this consistent, and there's a business angle that makes the pattern make more sense. Blueface streams on Kick, and volatility is basically his product. With Blueface making upwards of $45,000 per week on Kick, he's probably not going to let any of this stop anytime soon. This is the kind of content that performs well on the platform, where his live viewers are looking for conflict. So every time this triangle blows up, it's not purely personal, it's also content, and it's profitable content at that. Once the knife came out, the house situation reportedly cooled down. The entire situation was diffused according to reports circulating after the shower, meaning nobody got hurt inside the home, and the party technically continued, or at least ended without visible bloodshed. But that calm didn't last the night, because instead of using the moment to smooth things over with Nevaeh, Blueface reportedly did something that made the situation worse. Later that evening, Blueface left Nevaeh so that he could go to the club with Chrisean, and as it turns out, this may have been a mistake, as chaos immediately ensued. Read that again. He left his pregnant girlfriend on the night of her own baby shower, hours after she pulled a knife on him for sneaking his ex into the house. And he went to the club with that same ex. That decision is the hinge the entire story swings on. Everything that followed the street fight, the reported shooting, happened after that choice. It's the piece that turns a messy family argument into the kind of night that ends up all over hip-hop news sites and clip accounts by Monday morning. By the time Blueface and Chrisean left for the club, word of the knife incident was already circulating. Videos and posts circulating online claimed Blueface. Chrisean and others became involved in a chaotic confrontation after leaving the baby shower celebrations. The party that was supposed to be about a baby on the way had already produced a viral knife video before midnight, and the night wasn't close to over, so Chrisean and Blueface left the baby shower drama behind and headed toward the club scene. That's when the second viral moment of the night hit, and this one didn't involve Nevaeh at all. Footage circulating online appears to show Chrisean getting into a confrontation with an unidentified woman in the street. In the clip, the woman strikes Chrisean before the altercation turns into a full fight. So this wasn't Chrisean throwing the first punch. By the footage, the other woman swung first. What happened next is what made the clip spread everywhere. The altercation turns into a full fight, with Chrisean repeatedly hitting the woman as people gather around them. A crowd forming around a street fight involving a reality TV name is basically guaranteed virality, and this one hit every corner of hip-hop media within hours. Now here's the detail that made the clip go from reality star fights in the street to genuinely bizarre. Blueface wasn't just present. He wasn't trying to break it up either. Blueface was standing shirtless next to her and was egging the fight on, his shirt off on the sidewalk, cheering his ex through a street brawl, hours after his pregnant girlfriend pulled a knife on him for being with that same ex. That's the framing multiple outlets landed on. It was a bizarre scene and an example of the kind of behavior the two were getting up to that night. And it's worth sitting with why this particular image stuck. It's not just a fight, it's a pregnant woman's partner, hours removed from a knife being pulled on him, standing bare-chested cheering on the woman he cheated with as she throws hands with a stranger in the street. Who was the woman Chrisean fought? That part is still murky. Social media users have claimed that the unidentified woman may have been associated with Nevaeh, but this remains unclear. If that connection holds up, it means the drama from inside the baby shower may have followed them out onto the street in a completely different form. A second fight tied to the same original conflict, just with a stand-in instead of Nevaeh herself. This is not new territory for Chrisean. She's built a reputation, fair or not, around exactly this kind of public physical confrontation. Back in December, she found herself surrounded during a Compton Christmas parade appearance. She got into a fight with female attendees at the event after asking why one of the women was filming her, and several videos captured her standing her ground against the group. That night ended with her saying she wished she'd never had a child with Blueface, calling him and his mother evil influences per multiple videos that circulated afterward. And going back further, the two of them have literally fought each other in public before. Back in 2022, Blueface and Chrisean were captured on video, getting into a physical fight on the streets of Hollywood early one morning. That altercation was serious enough that a source within the Los Angeles Police Department confirmed the department had started a preliminary investigation into the altercation and said the LAPD would still be setting up a crime report due to the severity of the standoff. Even though the couple had left the scene before officers arrived, during that fight, Blueface appeared to be trying to de-escalate at points, climbing on top of Rock and pinning her to the ground while telling her to calm down and stop following him. So when people saw Blueface standing shirtless hyping up a Chrisean street fight this past weekend, it landed inside a much longer history of these two being at the center of public brawls, sometimes against each other, sometimes with Chrisean fighting someone else while Blueface watches from the sideline. What's different this time is who he was supposed to be protecting instead, a pregnant partner sitting at home after just pulling a knife on him. The street fight alone would have been enough to dominate hip-hop headlines for a cycle. But this same night had one more escalation waiting, and it's the one that turned a viral scandal into something with police involvement. While the street fight clip was spreading, a second, more serious claim started circulating about the same outing. Reports that Blueface and people around him were involved in gunfire. A post shared by DJ Academics claimed Blueface and members of his crew were allegedly involved in a shooting following the baby shower. That's a name with real reach in hip-hop media. And once he posted it, the story shifted from messy reality TV drama to something with actual public safety stakes. The details that followed painted a chaotic scene. According to a video posted to social media, Blueface and his crew allegedly got into some sort of shootout. 7 shots were fired, and police eventually made their way to the scene. 7 rounds in public, connected to the same night as a baby shower and a street fight. That's the kind of detail that turns a celebrity gossip cycle into an actual news story. And the scale being reported wasn't small either. Reports from No Jumper suggested 100 people were involved in the scuffle, and there were no victims spotted at the scene. 100 people in the vicinity of gunfire, and nobody confirmed hit. That combination is exactly why the reports spread as fast as they did, with everyone trying to figure out how something that dangerous could unfold with no visible injuries. But here's where the reporting gets careful, and rightly so. At the time the story broke, it was unclear whether or not arrests were made. Nobody covering this had confirmed cuffs going on anyone. The footage and the claims were moving faster than any official confirmation could keep up with. That gap between viral claim and verified fact is worth sitting with, because outlets covering the story were upfront about it. Some social media accounts alleged that gunfire erupted during the incident, but the full circumstances remained unclear. And as of publication, no reliable law enforcement source or major news outlet had publicly confirmed that Blueface or Chrisean fired a weapon, was injured, or was arrested in connection with the alleged shooting. So the shooting reports were real in the sense that they were widely circulated and taken seriously by major hip-hop outlets. But the confirmation chain that usually follows a shooting, police statements, arrest records, victim identification, hadn't caught up yet. That doesn't make the claims disappear. It means the story was, and largely remains, developing in real time. This remains a developing story, and outlets covering it committed to bringing updates as new information became available. When you've got 7 shots reportedly fired around a crowd of 100 people, tied directly to a celebrity entourage, that's not something that gets fully wrapped up in a single news cycle. It's the kind of story where the first wave of reporting is just the opening chapter. What makes this particular escalation land harder than a typical celebrity scuffle is the timeline it's attached to. This wasn't a random night out. It was the same night that started with a knife being pulled inside a baby shower, continued with a street fight where Blueface stood shirtless, cheering his ex on, and then allegedly ended with gunfire involving his crew. 3 separate flashpoints, one night, one couple, at the center of all of it. And it's worth remembering who else was tied up in that timeline emotionally, even if she wasn't physically present for the later chaos. Neve was the one who pulled the knife hours earlier. She was the one carrying Blueface's child, and she was the one who, in a separate clip that surfaced the same weekend, predicted that Chrisean would end up facing legal consequences tied to the death of a friend named Ronnie. Whether or not that particular claim holds up, it shows just how much tension had built between these 2 women before a single shot was ever reported fired. So now we've got the baby shower, the knife, the street fight, and the alleged shootout, all stacked into roughly 12 hours. The next question is what this means for the 3 people at the center of it, starting with the man who chose to leave a pregnant partner's celebration to be with the woman he'd been sneaking around with in the first place. To understand why this particular weekend spiraled the way it did, you have to go back to what Blueface has actually admitted about his relationship with Chrisean. While he's been with Neve, he hasn't hidden it. Blueface admitted in July that he cheated on Neve, who is pregnant with his child, with Chrisean. That's not speculation pieced together from paparazzi photos. That's him, on his own platform, confirming it. So when he snuck Chrisean into the baby shower, it wasn't the first sign of trouble. It was a continuation of something he'd already put on record himself. The situation attracted even more attention because Blueface has publicly remained entangled with Chrisean, despite Neve being pregnant with his child, and Complex previously reported that Blueface admitted, during a live stream, that he had been involved with Chrisean while still with Neve. 2 separate confirmations of the same pattern from 2 different points in the timeline, both from his own mouth. And it wasn't a one-time slip that Neve found out about after the fact and moved past. This has led to numerous fights and arguments on the rapper's kick streams, and he's been going on dates with Chrisean Rock throughout all of this, which has made Neve even more upset. So this is a running storyline that's been playing out on livestream, in front of an audience, for weeks before the baby shower ever happened. Why keep doing it, especially with a child on the way? Part of the answer is genuinely financial. With Blueface making upwards of $45,000 per week on Kick, he's probably not going to let any of this stop anytime soon. Streaming platforms reward exactly this kind of ongoing tension. A live audience watching a real relationship blow up in real time is compelling. In a way scripted content can't fake, and his live viewers are looking for conflict. According to the reporting around his channel's growth, that creates a strange incentive structure. The worse things get between him, Chrisean, and Neve, the more attention the whole triangle generates, which means there's very little pressure pushing him toward actually resolving any of it. Every blow-up becomes, functionally, another episode. Chrisean and Blueface's relationship goes back years at this point, and it's always operated on this same rhythm of collapse and reunion. Rock and Blueface's relationship began in 2020 during the pandemic, when they met through his OnlyFans reality show, Blue Girls Club, where contestants competed for the rapper's attention. Even the way they met was built around competition and drama as entertainment, which makes the pattern that followed feel less like an accident and more like the format repeating itself. In 2023, the rapper didn't mince his words when disparaging the mother of his child, threatening to dump the then-pregnant entertainer. and comparing her to his other baby mama, Jaden Alexis. So even during Chrisean's own pregnancy with his son, the relationship was defined by public conflict, rather than any kind of stability, which is the same dynamic that's now shown up again, except with Neve in the role Chrisean used to occupy. That's arguably the most uncomfortable thread in the entire story. Neve, pregnant and hosting her own baby shower, is currently living through something close to a replay of what Chrisean went through a few years earlier: disparaging comments, public entanglement with another woman, and a partner who keeps circling back to the same dynamic, no matter who's carrying his child at the time. This is not dissimilar to what played out between Blueface and Chrisean Rock 3 years earlier. Blue has consistently antagonized the mother of his child, and that antagonistic nature has been unrelenting. For Chrisean, her half of this pattern is just as consistent. She keeps ending up in the middle of public physical confrontations, whether it's fighting Blueface directly in the street back in 2022, standing her ground against a group at a Christmas parade in December, or throwing hands with a stranger the same night as his baby shower. The fight marks one of many in the entertainer's life, given her tumultuous history with Blueface. It's not one incident defining her public image at this point. It's the accumulation of them. So by the time this baby shower rolled around, nobody following either of their timelines should have expected a quiet night. The knife, the fight, the reported gunfire, none of it happened in isolation. It happened because the same two people, with the same unresolved dynamic, were put back in the same room, and the pattern that's followed them for years simply played out again, just with higher stakes, because there's now a baby on the way with someone else entirely. So where does this actually leave Blueface, Chrisean, and Nevaeh? Once the clips stop trending and the news cycle moves on to the next thing, Nevaeh is still pregnant, still due to give birth soon, and still dealing with a partner who brought his ex into her own baby shower and then left her that same night to go to a club with that same ex. Blueface and Nevaeh have been going through a rough patch, as the latter is set to give birth soon. Whatever happens with the shooting reports or the street fight fallout, she's the one who has to move forward carrying a child into a relationship that's currently being defined publicly by a knife incident and a cheating admission. Chrisean walks away from this weekend with another viral fight added to a list that already includes a Hollywood street brawl with Blueface himself, a confrontation at a Compton parade, and now a street fight outside a club the same night as his baby shower. Nothing about the reporting suggests she's facing charges from this specific incident. No reliable law enforcement source or major news outlet has publicly confirmed that Blueface or Chrisean fired a weapon, was injured, or was arrested in connection with the alleged shooting, but the pattern itself is becoming its own story, independent of any single arrest. Blueface, for his part, keeps ending up at the center of these moments as either a participant or, in this case, the guy standing shirtless on the sidewalk hyping up his ex's fight, hours after leaving his pregnant girlfriend's celebration. And because so much of his income now runs through a platform that rewards exactly this kind of chaos, there's little sign that the incentive to keep circling back to Chrisean is going away anytime soon. With him making upwards of $45,000 per week on Kick, he's probably not going to let any of this stop anytime soon, since this is the kind of content that performs well on the platform, and his live viewers are looking for conflict. The gunfire reports remain the loosest thread. 7 shots, a crowd near 100 people, no confirmed victims, no confirmed arrests as of the initial reporting. That's not a story that resolves cleanly in a single weekend. It's the kind of claim that either gets backed up by police records and witness accounts in the days that follow, or quietly fades without official confirmation, the way plenty of viral shooting claims tied to celebrity entourages have before. Outlets that broke the story have been upfront that it's still developing, which means the real answer to what happened with those 7 shots is still being written. What's not in question is the sequence that got us here. A baby shower, an ex who wasn't supposed to be there, a knife pulled inside the house, a decision to leave for the club anyway, a street fight with Blueface cheering from the sidewalk, and reports of gunfire before the night was through. 3 people, 1 relationship history stretching back to 2020, and a pattern of public collapse that's now repeating itself with a new woman caught in the middle of it, pregnant, and watching the same story play out that she once watched from the outside.